So, first thing I wanted to touch on is he gonna, okay. What are the thoughts and the outlook of Lincoln Riley heading into year two, and does the fan base like where the team is at?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to not like where they're at. I mean, they're the preseason favorites. Pac-12 preseason media polls just came out, and USC is a definitive favorite. ESPN Football Power Index has USC as a definitive favorite. And when you look at USC's schedule, it is tough. It is definitely a challenge of sorts. I think it's kind of a don't let the door hit you on the way out from George Kliavkoff and company. It's like, yeah, sorry about that, but also I'm not sorry because, screw you guys a little. But I think for USC and Lincoln Riley, they're in a place where, they're where they expected to be when they hired him, which is, yeah, of course we should be a conference favorite. Yeah, of course we should be contending to win the Pac-12. Yeah, of course we should, be able to have ourselves in a situation where not making the conference championship game would be a massive letdown. And they make it in year one. I didn't expect them to. I thought they'd be a 9-3 team last year. They squeaked out a couple of close wins, and they were able to go 11-1. They lose their last two games of the year, but they looked really, really good, and they should be really, really good again. Now, the question with a Lincoln Riley coach team, it's always going to be the defense, but in the context of a conference championship, all the time people will say, they can't win, their defense stinks. The dude won 3 Big 12 championships, if memory serves, and he didn't have a good defense over at Oklahoma either. Well, the Big 12 doesn't play any defense. Neither does the Pac-12 compared to, big boy defenses in college football. Like, this is an offensive sport. This is an offensive quarterback-driven league, and USC has the best quarterback and probably the best offense in the entire league. So that puts them in a good position, and if their defense can be just okay, then they will probably win the Pac-12, but that's not a given because there are other good teams that are capable of doing it. Utah, 2-time defending champs. USC hasn't beaten them yet under Lincoln Riley. They went 0-2. Washington brings back Michael Penix and a bunch of great receivers. Oregon has Bo Nix back and has made some upgrades on the defensive side of the ball. So I think USC should be the favorite, but I don't see them as a runaway favorite per se, like Clemson has been over the years in the ACC. I don't think they're at that level, but they are very, very good, and they have the best player in the country.
They absolutely do. And your point with the defense, it makes me wonder, what did Tulane do? Because Tulane was not supposed to be able to beat USC in the Cotton Bowl.
I mean, they were the line on the game was close, if memory serves. I believe it was like a single digit line or so. So the betting markets told you that they thought Tulane was a good football team, and also probably that USC overachieved by going 11-1, which in year one I think that they did. But again, it's the same story. Like, why hasn't Lincoln Riley been in a national championship game yet? Because his defenses haven't been good enough. That's not holding him back from winning a conference title. That's not holding him back from getting to the playoff. It's holding him back from winning a national championship, which in college football, that is a high, elite, top 0.01% first-class problem to have. Like, we couldn't get to a national championship game. There aren't that many coaches that are held to that standard. It's, Nick Saban, Lincoln Riley, Urban Meyer when he's coaching, Ryan Day now at Ohio State, Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart. Is there any other coach that we're holding to that standard? I don't think that standard.
Right. I don't think there's another one currently. I think Jim Harbaugh at Michigan is trending in that direction. Because he's making the right moves over there.
Now that I think that's a good call, because now that he's been to the playoff back-to-back years, we're always thinking about, what's next, how do you progress, how do you get better, what's the next step? Next step for him would be national championship. I don't think he's the sort of coach you look at and say, We don't think he had a good season unless he gets to the national championship game. But I do feel that I think you're right that he's kind of migrating into that sort of area.
So